Hello. If you're able to, please close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Relax your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Take another deep breath in. And another breath out. You can open your eyes now. My name is David, and welcome to Mindful Moments. I hope everyone's doing well. I am doing okay. I've had a bit of a time the last couple of weeks. I think with all the travel, with the jet lag, with this being a really busy period of year for me, I've really been struggling. I find it really difficult. Oh, and with the weather, the change of weather. It's winter. The days are shorter. It's dark for more of the time. I wake up quite early generally, so I wake up and it's dark, and then I go to sleep and it's dark, and it's cold. And I feel like all of those things in conjunction have just meant that I've struggled a little bit in the last couple of weeks. I felt like it was important to say that as well. I do like to try and start these off on a positive note because I want everyone to go away feeling good after listening to this. But I think it's more important to be honest than it is to be nice. So, honestly, I've struggled a little bit the last couple of weeks. But even saying that, I feel a little bit lighter just for admitting it and just for acknowledging that's what's been going on. And hopefully, things will improve as I adjust and get back into my normal routine. Another thing is that I haven't been in my normal routine. Haven't really been going to the gym as much. I've been trying to keep up my exercise, etc. But I'm outside of my usual way of doing things. And I was really indulging the emotions I was really making sure I took time to allow myself to feel down, etc. But it's funny that sometimes the only way out is through, and you just have to get up and do what you know you need to do. So that's where I am now. I'm in the get up and do what I know I need to do phase. And it's working. I am feeling better. Long-winded way of saying, I'm okay. Getting there. Today, I want to talk about jealousy. Who has ever been jealous? If you said no, I want you to pause this, go to the mirror, look at yourself and say, stop lying, then come back and carry on listening. Jealousy is a funny thing. I have a friend and we talk about the things that we're irrationally jealous of, or the people we're irrationally jealous of. For example, she is irrationally jealous of Simone Biles. Simone Biles, for those who don't know, is the greatest gymnast of all time. She does moves that nobody is literally physically capable of doing in gymnastics, things that no one's ever seen before in the history of the sport. My friend isn't a gymnast. She has never done gymnastics. She has no interest in doing gymnastics, but sometimes watches Simone Biles in the Olympics, etc., and feels super jealous. I am the same. My person to feel irrationally jealous of was Kylian Mbappe. He's a French football player. He won the World Cup when he was 19. He scored a hat trick in the World Cup final last year at 24 or 23. He's just, achieving unbelievable things. I feel like that's one of the common things that people feel jealous of. You know, when someone younger than you is doing unbelievable things and you think, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing? I remember when I turned 20, one of my friends at the time said, isn't it crazy how now, whenever we achieve anything, it's just going to be normal. You'll never be a teen prodigy doing something. You'll just be an adult. I said, how dare you say something like that to me? How dare you ruin my day like this? Yeah, jealousy happens. That's all fun and games, being jealous of, people that you're never going to see and people that you don't know personally and people who, frankly, you should be allowed to be jealous of. Like, it's okay to be jealous of a 19-year-old who's won the World Cup. That's objectively an incredible thing to have done. Something that I know I'm never going to do. And my jealousy is harmless in that it's never going to be felt. I'm never going to act on it. What happens, though, when you're jealous of people around you? What happens when you're jealous of your friends? I think feeling jealous of your friends is one of the worst feelings in the world. Because not only do you have the jealousy itself, which you don't want, because they're your friends, they're people you care about. You also have the guilt and the shame of feeling the jealousy in the first place. And you have the difficulty of having to confront and deal with those emotions or work through it to continue being a good friend or a good person to whoever it is you're jealous of. The thing I want to start by underlining is that jealousy in itself is not a moral failing. It's not a bad thing to feel jealous because, frankly, we don't get to choose it. We don't get to choose our initial emotional reactions to anything. Our first thought is not who we are, but our second thought is, if I feel jealous of somebody, that's all well and good. That's fine. I am not really at fault for that. But if I then say something jealous or someone gives me good news and I feel jealous of it in the moment and I'm rude about it, or I pull them down, or I say something that I know I shouldn't be saying, or know diminishes them, or know takes away from their moment because of my jealousy, that is where I'm deeply, deeply at fault. But how does one deal with it? Because, as I said, one of the worst feelings you could feel doesn't make it any less real, doesn't make it any less difficult. Jealousy in itself, I think, is a very good indicator. It's just an indicator that you want something for yourself. The only reason it's jealousy and not desire is because you want it because someone else has it. Jealousy is a very selfish emotion. I don't say that in a negative way or in an accusatory tone. It's jealousy is literally selfish. It's about what we want. It's about seeing something that we want that somebody else has. So when we're jealous of people who are our friends or people you care about, the first thing to do is to decenter ourselves in that equation. It's hard to decenter yourself in anything because we're always with ourselves and we are the centers of our universe. But when I feel jealous of something or jealous of somebody, the first thing I need to say to myself is, this isn't about you. This is really not. However I feel about whatever's making me jealous can wait until I can deal with it appropriately. In a moment, if I hear something or see something that makes me feel jealous for somebody, my primary responsibility is to respond to that thing properly. A friend tells me very good news and tells me they're getting something that I might want myself. My primary responsibility to that friend is to make them feel even better about that news than they do already, because I owe that to them. That's what we owe in our social contracts, in our friendships, in our relationships. We owe the love and support that we expect from other people. If I had good news, I would correctly want my friends to be happy for me. And it's so possible to feel multiple things at the same time. Again, as I said, feeling jealousy for someone you care about is one of the most difficult feelings because it's very conflicting. Jealousy for a friend is actually one of the signs or one of the biggest pieces of evidence of how nebulous and complex feelings can be. You can be jealous of someone and be happy for them at the same time. That doesn't even sound like it should make sense, but it can be the truth. As I said, the jealousy itself, not our fault. Making someone else feel the impact of our jealousy, definitely our responsibility, and would be my fault if I ever did anything like that. And constantly and consistently feeling jealous of somebody who I should only be happy for, at a certain point, that also becomes my fault. If I'm constantly looking at somebody else, constantly jealous of what they have, constantly jealous of their life, of the things that they get, that's also my responsibility to deal with. And really, it's really important for me to deal with it before it gets to a stage where my jealousy makes me act in a way that's outside of myself, in a way that harms them for doing nothing. When I've been jealous before and haven't wanted to be, I've tried to follow a few things that have really helped. The first is, yes, decentering myself and saying, you need to deal with this jealousy, not here and not now. So making time for myself to really sit down and think through why I feel that way about something. Of course, as I said, jealousy in its nature is fairly easy to understand. I want this thing, someone else has it. The second thing is to understand that good things don't simply exist in finite terms and in ways that mean that if someone else has this, I can't have it. Good things are abundant. There is enough good for all of us to have something good. Someone else having a good opportunity, somebody else having something that they want, doesn't mean that I'll never get what I want. In fact, someone else succeeding, achieving something, getting something, proves that it's possible. Someone in my proximity achieving something, getting something good, doing something well, proves that someone like me could have those things too. So instead of jealousy is a misdirection, in fact, of energy. Instead of me putting my energy into being jealous of them and thinking they've somehow taken something away from me, really, I should be looking at their example and happy that they can have it and that they're showing me that I can have it too. In addition to that, once I've acknowledged that my energy going into jealousy is the wrong way to direct it, it's actually an opportunity to prove to myself how much I actually do want a certain thing. To be jealous about something, I have to care about it. But to truly want something and merit something, I'm going to have to work towards it. So really, how well-founded is the jealousy? How badly do I actually want this thing? Is it a case of me wanting to have it, or is it a case of me not wanting someone else to have it? Because if I want to have it, then I need to redirect that energy into me working towards it myself. Acknowledge that I'm jealous, understand that the jealousy itself isn't my fault, but my reaction is everything, and work towards whatever it is that I want. Use that energy to push myself to try and achieve the things that I want so that I don't have to feel that jealousy anymore. If it's a case of me having resentment towards a person and not wanting them to have a certain thing, that again is my moral responsibility then to deal with. It's not fair of me to harbor resentment, jealousy, anger towards another person simply because they're living their life. And whatever the root cause of that is, it's my responsibility to find. It's my responsibility to look into that. And in the meantime, never let that person feel the impact of what I'm feeling. It's not fair. It's not right. These are all very hard things to do, by the way. Even me saying this, I'm sitting here, I'm not jealous of anybody right now. Thankfully. Not jealous of anybody right now. Haven't been jealous of anybody in a while. But knowing that these are things I have definitely felt. I felt very acutely. I will more than likely feel again. And it makes me feel like a terrible person just saying these things and knowing that I'm going to feel like this and knowing that I felt like this before. It makes me feel like a bad person. One of the things that I truly believe is that nobody is all good or all bad. And we choose how we want to be. So even in saying all of these things and trying to think through these things and work through these things, these thoughts and emotions, it's me trying to be better and striving to be better. And you can't deal with these negative emotions or these things that you know you shouldn't feel or act on. There's no way to deal with those things if you pretend they don't exist. It's the classic maxim, the first step to solving a problem is acknowledging the problem. Sometimes we're jealous of people we shouldn't be jealous of. That's okay. Every time we have a responsibility to work through that and to make sure that that person is insulated from our feelings. There are responsibilities to deal with. Whether it feels nice or not, they are. And it's very possible. It's very possible to work through those feelings and deal with those feelings. Jealousy is just an indicator of the things that you want for yourself. Rather than channeling that energy into pulling someone down or making them feel bad simply for living their life, that energy should be directed into moving towards the things that we want for ourselves. And we should always, always be happy for people getting good things. Good things happening to people is a good thing. That's what we want. There's no better feeling, in fact, than when the people you care about succeed or win. Seeing your people win is one of the best feelings in the world. And one of the reasons I hate jealousy or I hate being jealous is because the jealousy robs me of that good feeling. Seeing my friends win is one of my favorite feelings ever. The few times where I felt jealousy, I haven't felt that to the extent that I could. And that's a big shame. But it's something that's within my control. When I realize that I feel jealous about a certain thing or in certain circumstances, it's always my responsibility to try and deal with that. Of course, the last thing is that everybody's life is a mix of many things, good and bad. When we're jealous of people for a good thing happening to them or them achieving a certain thing. We just discount all the negative things that they've been through, all the hard work they might have put into it, all the difficult things they could still be going through despite these good things happening in their lives. We reduce them to this one thing that's happening to them and then punish them for it. Put like that, that sounds incredibly unfair, because it is. To be jealous of someone is to diminish the richness and complexity of their life to one small thing and how that small thing relates to you. So again, as I said earlier about jealousy being a selfish thing, in that way, it really is too. It's not fair of us to do that to people. One of the hardest things to work through. It's one of the hardest things to work through, jealousy. Very hard to do, especially if you're not in a place where you're happy. You're not in a place where you have the other things you can focus on to lift yourself out of jealousy, or you have good things going on that you can say, okay, at least I have this. When you're in a bad place and jealous, having to work on that jealousy, it's like salt in the wound. It's insult to injury, but it's necessary. It's so necessary. Especially because when you carry jealousy and you carry the spirit of jealousy with you, the extent of your own happiness is always limited too. When good things happen to you, you won't even be able to see them for how amazing they are, because you're very focused on what's happening to other people or what other people are getting. Working through jealousy is a tough thing. Very tough thing. Feeling jealousy is a very tough thing. Feeling jealousy for the people we care about is the toughest of things. The tough things are the ones most worth working through. Working through those brings you the most in return. And working through jealousy, especially towards those we care about, is only good for us and for those we care about. It's good for our relationships. It's good for our own mental health and peace of mind. And it helps us to really appreciate the good for what it is, rather than only see things as how they relate to us. It's necessary. If you have felt jealousy or feeling jealousy at this current moment towards anybody, fair enough. Don't act on it though. And that's a note to self too, for when it comes up again. It's not easy to work through, but eminently worth it. That's really all I have today. As I said, tough couple of weeks, feeling very tired. Apologies if today wasn't as eloquent as usual. I'm going to stop doing that as well. I'm going to stop apologizing for feeling like I underperform, because I'm here every week. I enjoy doing this every week. I love the interaction I have every time I release an episode. And I'm very grateful to everyone for listening. So I won't insult you by apologizing anymore. I'll just thank you. Thank you very much for being here and continuing to come every week. I appreciate you. Whatever you're doing this week, I hope you have a wonderful one.